You've been here a couple of years. You're comfortable in the SMU defense. What was the biggest adjustment you had to make from being a defensive end at Pearland High School to being a linebacker at SMU?
Coverage. Coverage and just playing it up, because you get to see everything when you go in 2-point stand. D-line is just basically you got one guy, you got one fit, or you're rushing the quarterback. So it's just knowing more stuff, and I guess just coverage and playing in space.
Is it easier starting in a stand-up position, like you said, where you can see everything unfolding in front of you?
It's easier playing that way, but it's just more knowledge. Like, you have to know more things, and that probably was the hardest part for me.
You replaced Jagarrett Davis starting on the outside. JG made a lot of plays, had a lot of sacks, scored a lot of touchdowns for a defensive guy. Is that intimidating at all, filling in for a guy, replacing a guy who was that productive?
Not at all. I just working hard and ready to fill in the shoes, man.
Other than the fact that you're a couple inches taller, how are you different as a player compared to Jagarrett?
I feel I'm stronger, a little bit more athletic. I'm bigger, and JG probably won't like this, but I think I'm faster. So.
Was he the kind of guy when you first got here who sort of reached out and helped teach you things?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, just sitting behind JG for those years, just watching him play, and watching all the plays he makes and how he approaches the game, just helps me. We have that type of a player to look after and kind of mold your game after. It always helps.
Talking to Tom Mason the last couple of years, asked him about what it's going to be like when Jagarrett graduates and Taylor Reed and Cameron Rogers and those guys, and he mentioned you specifically. He said he's been recruiting these bigger, fast linebackers. So now you and Stephon Sanders are on opposite sides. You're both tall. You're both bigger than the guys you replaced. How similar are you and Stephon Sanders as players, or is there a really notable difference in your skill set and your style?
We both have things. I think Stephon's a smarter player, personally, probably in coverage, because that's why he plays Sam. But I think Stephon's probably a smarter player. He has the experience over me and stuff like that. He's a little bit bigger than I am, a little bit stronger, but I'm faster.
When Coach Mason talked about this next wave of linebackers, again, he talked about size, he talked about athleticism. If you take the starters out of it, so you and Sanders and Pope and Joyner, of the next group, who's been most impressive to you?
Lincoln Richards.
Yeah. What do you like about him?
Lincoln's an athlete. He just goes. Lincoln's one of those dudes that's always excited to be out there, man. He's going to be a good player.
How much have you seen of Texas Tech, and what impresses you or concerns you the most about their offense?
We just watched the spring game, so they have pretty good players, pretty good athletes. They have some quick receivers, and they have some pretty good running backs. So.
How much do you get out of a spring game? Don't they sort of water that down and do a real simple version of whatever their offense or defense is going to be?
Yeah, but good thing about defense is you just line up and play. So as long as we, stick to our assignments and our rules and do our job, we should be fine.
There's different reports floating around out there about their quarterback situation. Apparently Michael Brewer, their starter or assumed starter, got hurt. Now there's some rumors that maybe he's not hurt as badly as people think. Mm-hmm. How much does that impact the way you guys as a defense will prepare, sort of the uncertainty of knowing really who you're going to see?
Well, you can't really trust injury reports and what the team says. So, we prepare for the starter or whoever we think is going to be out there, we prepare for that. So, whoever plays us, we're going to be ready. You can't really go by what he said or she said. You just got to be ready to play their best. So you got to get ready for their best.
They had a freshman who, if Brewer can't play, they have a freshman who enrolled in January and apparently had a very good spring, Davis Webb. Mm-hmm. Do you know anything about him, and how different is he from Brewer?
Besides being a freshman and having a very good spring, I don't really know much about him. Brewer's a starter. He's been there for a while, so I guess, I guess he's better, but, we'll see.
If they do end up going with a freshman in the first game of the year, would your approach as a defense be, let's try to throw some new wrinkles at him to get him off his game, or is it just first game of the year, let's perfect what we're doing?
Well, whatever Coach Mason thinks of, man. I just do it. I just play the call. So whatever Coach Mason goes out there and tells us what to do, we're gonna do.
People have talked about the defensive line. Your entire starting defensive line graduated last year. Well, 4 of them if you include Spike and Torlin and Margus and Kevin Grenier. How different is it lining up behind the new guys?
It's not that much different. I mean, we have some pretty good players coming in, filling the shoes. Zach Bobars, you got Darian, who played pretty well last year. Andy McClanagan, all those guys. Ely. So I mean, it's really not much difference. I mean, they're still good players. You just like seeing the 6'8", 280 guy out there, but it's not that much different.